Hello, welcome to the store. Today we're going to talk about fan filters, or case filters if you will. There's two types we offer for sale in the store. One is a plastic type and the other one is a metal type. The plastic type are generally office use type of case or fan filters, and the metal type would be used in industrial or outdoor applications. And these are basically meant to clean out the air from contaminants. The fan is sold in standard sizes. Here we have an 80 millimeter fan, and so we sell an 80 millimeter fan filter. If you buy a 92 millimeter fan, you would buy a 92 millimeter fan filter, and so forth. Now, why, you'll find these in the accessories portion of the store. Why would you use a fan filter? If you said for contamination, reduce contamination in computers, yes, you would be correct, but so what? Fans and circuit boards and disk drives in general seem unaffected by airborne contamination. So the more indirect answer, I guess, would be cooling. And what are we talking about? I'm going to present an extreme case here, but from it you get the point. Here we have a 3-year-old computer, which we just retired from use in the office. This computer did not have a a case filter or fan filter to clean out contaminations. Computers and other devices have heat sinks or to aid in cooling. In this case, we're going to take a look at the CPU. In your case, could be a graphics card, a gateway, something like this. In this case, this CPU had what's called a folded fin heatsink. The folded fin has a lot of air passageways for the air to take the heat away. Here you see the heatsink and the heat pipes, and down below would be a base, and below that some thermal paste, and below that the CPU. In this case, you can see over 3 years, this is actually the exhaust side of the assembly. This is the inlet side where there's a fan. So there's about a good 30% on the exhaust side, you can see, for reduction of flow. Inlet side's probably more. The clock, as a result, the unit's going to get a lot hotter. The clock speed reduces. As it gets hotter, the thermal paste in the base of this begins to leak or dry out, reducing that conduction. And so as the war is lost, for want of a horseshoe nail, the $3,000 or $2,000 computer, in this case, dies for the lack of a $10 component. So let's talk a little more about the filter itself. Metal filters are just a single piece. You would put that on the inlet side of the fan. Now, what is the inlet and how would we know? On most every fan, you'll see it'll have two arrows. One shows the direction that the blades rotate. The other one shows the direction that the air would go, because when the fan's not working, you have no idea. In this case, the air shows that it comes into this side and goes out this other side. In general, if you can't see these, you look for the struts, and that's usually where the air exhausts. So the fan filter would go on the inlet side. In this case, if here's your case and you put your fan against it, this is where the filter would go. If this was your case and you put your fan on the exhaust side of the case, it doesn't make any sense at that point to have a fan filter here. So you would put your fan filter on the exhaust, or fan on the exhaust, and your filter on the inlet side, thus filtering your air. The plastic type is a 3-part assembly. It has a base which would go on the inlet, again, the inlet side of the fan. The filter, which goes on top of the inlet, and of course you have that base so the draw does not pull the filter into the impeller, and then the top clicks on top of that. And when this is all assembled, it's usually you squeeze the top cover and it'll come off, and you would clean the filter. How often do you clean the filter? As often as you need to. Usually you'll see the fan or your computer or device begin to slow down. So it'd be an indication that one indication that you should go and look at the fan filter. There's no noise advantage that we've seen using these, or excuse me, that I can hear using these. Not very scientific, but that's my contribution. There is a drop in flow using these types of polycarbonate filters. We've measured an 11% reduction in flow, so if you use 10% as a rule of thumb, that would probably be good. So that's our contribution for fan filters. Thanks for visiting the store.